Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? Ready for some new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one, which is an update to the story about OP's ex's girlfriend, who demands OP gives her jewelry her ex's grandma gifted her and her engagement ring. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. So, I was supposed to have a serious important chat with Ken about his crazy fiancée Molly. We were to meet at a spot we both agreed on, and next thing you know, when I got there, Ken brought Molly, and I should have just walked away. But I didn't. I tried to be the bigger person. So I approached them both, and Molly didn't look at me until we started talking about her behavior towards me, especially around our son. She started saying I was lying and just causing trouble for them. She really bashed me so much in front of Ken. For some reason, Ken didn't say anything and let her verbally be aggressive towards me so much. I had to walk away. Not before she admitted to destroying my art I made for Ken and gifts I got him, our pictures together. I couldn't take it, so I yelled at her and called her colorful names, which I know I shouldn't. But after everything, seeing Ken just let her do those things right in front of him, he was so unfazed by her tantrum towards me. I just told him I'm gonna go for full custody, so I can make sure that crazy banshee doesn't get near me or my son. I couldn't look at Ken the same after that. No more at all. I had to call my best friend Leah and my older brother Alex. After I left, I told them what happened. My brother Alex seriously drilled into Ken when he called him. My friend Leah comforted me and made sure I was okay. She told me she will help me with anything and that she's my biggest supporter. Also, what is weird is Molly liked my brother for some odd reason. But my brother never liked her, especially about how she was treating me, and saw in person. Leah did message Ken that he was a jerk and that she will kick Molly's butt if she ever sees her near me or my son again. Ken did try to get a hold of me, but I blocked him on everything. That if he wanted to message me or talk to me, he can go through my friend Leah or my brother. So now here I am, gonna file for full custody and make sure he has supervised visitation. I will try to make that happen. I tried to be the bigger person, but I can't do it anymore. I can't have someone who is that unhinged around me and my son, especially when it was someone who I loved more than life itself. I can't do it no more with him. This was way more than the whole engagement ring and silver jewelry. It's like she tried to erase me and be my little boy's new mother. And his own father just watched and looked like he wants to make that reality. I'm gonna make sure to keep my jewelry and my son all safe, and I have my friends and family for help. Shame on OP's ex. I guess in moments like that, you question yourself what I was doing with this person, especially having kids with someone like that. Hope you enjoyed the update, guys. Check out the link in the description box for part 1 if you haven't heard it yet. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Springfield, Missouri Daddy says, not the a-hole obviously, but you should not expect other people to defend you. Be your own advocate. You should be thankful you are rid of that guy. Own Presentation 6561 says, keep record of everything, OP, while it is fresh. Get cameras for your house, just for your protection. You tried to play nice. She is a nut job, and he is a wussy for just sitting there like a square nub. Protect your son and yourself. He won't if he let her turn up like that. And maybe see if you can get CCTV copy from where you met if they have it. No harm in asking. I, female 36, have a son, 14, from my previous relationship. I've been married to Michael, male 42, for 2 years. He also has a son, 16, from his previous relationship. We're not wealthy, and right now I'm the one earning money to provide for the family. I have a strategy which consists of saving money to get ready for an occasion like a birthday or a trip. For my son's 15th birthday, which will be on July 19th, I've saved money to be able to throw him the celebration he always wanted. Pay for decoration, cake, gift, food, etc. My stepson's 16th birthday was last week. My husband doesn't share finances with me, and when he used to have a job, he'd pay for all his son's needs. Now I've picked up the slack, but there's only so much I can do with the salary I have. My husband talked about wanting to throw his son the perfect birthday celebration, but didn't know where to come up with the money to pay for it. He asked to use my son's birthday savings and promised to pay me back in time, but I refused for the sole reason of him being unable to make money. He hinted about how I treat my stepson less than, etc., etc. The party took place at a restaurant, expensive one at that, and when I asked my husband about the money, he said he borrowed it from a friend. I later found out that he'd actually used my son's birthday savings, all of them. I was dumbfounded by this. My reaction was to blow up on him and have a huge argument. In his defense, he said he was desperate and that I can't blame him for wanting to make his son happy. I called him selfish, told him these savings were supposed to go towards my son's birthday. Then I demanded that he pay everything back. He didn't say anything. Went out, and when he got back, he kept on about how he was just trying to make his son happy and how I should be understanding that as a parent, as a father, it's his job. He then said if I really care about his son the way I say I do, then I'll stop asking for the money. OP needs to gather her husband's belongings and then tell him that he has two choices. He can sell them and give her the money back, or pack them, because there's no way OP and her child will live with a thief. I personally think that what he did is unforgivable, and there's no excuse for that. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Mental Phone says, not the a-hole. You don't share finances, so not only did he steal, but he lied as well. He says you were playing favorites, but he stole from your child to please his. I'd reconsider the relationship, especially since he has no way of paying it back. PLFN2 says, he stole money from you, money that he knew was for your son's happiness. He stole from your child to give to his child. He's not good. Not the a-hole. Pen Lane says, not the a-hole. Your husband is a thief, and he will 100% do this again. If you decide to stay with him, you should open a separate account and don't even think about telling him. Stash money away for you and your son, and for the event in which you need to leave, because you probably will. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with PCOS, on top of having other health issues. So not only was getting pregnant more difficult, even if I did, the pregnancy would be extremely difficult. My niece, Skyla, was born when I was 17 to my sister, who was a single parent. I would look after Skyla every day after school, and she's pretty much the reason I went into childcare. When I got my first decent paying job when I was 20, I decided I'd do what my grandparents did for me for my niece, which is put away some money monthly. I started putting 150 pounds a month away for Skyla, and I intend to keep on doing this until I give her the money. My brother recently had a baby, and he asked me if I'd be doing the same thing as I'm doing for Skyla, and I told him no. I was younger when Skyla was born, and she got me through a hard time. Plus, I haven't told anyone, but me and my partner are trying to have a baby. We're considering IVF or adoption, but either way, a baby is expensive. He got upset and said that Skyla isn't my child, and that it's unfair that I'm not nearly as invested in his child's life. It's true, I can't bring myself to care as much for his baby as much as Skyla, but that's because she was born when I was a lot younger and less emotionally secure. Sister-in-law and my brother have both told me if I'm not as invested in their child as I was Skyla, then I won't see the baby. They said when Skyla was born, I babysat almost every day of the week, but I've only seen his baby 3 times since the baby was born, 6 months ago. But I'm more busy now than I was then, and I still babysit Skyla after she finishes school and I'm done with work, so I'm busy almost 24/7. Their argument is now my sister's in a better place financially than them, so they'd value the help more. Am I the a-hole? This is why you don't let other people know about things like this. OP is saying Skyla's the favorite, and she's going to treat her niece and nephew differently. I know OP has her reasons for bonding with one more than the other, and it's her money to do what she wants with. But I'm kind of leaning towards that OP is in the wrong here, because it's pretty cold to let OP's brother know that she isn't treating the kids equally. Having the favorite is one thing, letting everyone know makes me uncomfortable. And now let's hear the community's opinion. SPFYRE says, I'm going to have to say everyone sucks here. You for advertising your favoritism of one child over the other, and your brother and sister-in-law for expecting money from you. Your money is yours to do with as you please, sure, totally get that. But it's an a-hole move to basically let it be known to your brother that you're putting away a large sum of money for your niece, but his kid isn't special enough to deserve that, because niece or nephew wasn't born at the right time in your life. You were in a different place, or whatever. The best course of action would have been to save money without telling anyone you were doing it. Family and finances don't mix, and this is a perfect example of that. Substantial Fox says, not the a-hole. The main reason being it's your money and your decision what you do with it. But also, when you started putting money aside for Skyla, your sister was a single mom. Your brother's baby has a 2-parent household. Another also, you formed an emotional attachment with Skyla, which isn't altered by the new baby. And an emotional attachment is very unlikely to form with the new baby when your brother and sister-in-law are threatening to keep them away from you unless you start saving money for them too. Nobody is entitled to your money. Key Avile says, Everyone sucks here. I get why you put money away, but you're definitely choosing favorites, while your brother has another person to care for their child. I, female 27, and my husband, male 27, got married a year back. We had been dating for 10 years, and most of his family knew about us. I went to his sister's wedding because I was invited, and it was a nice experience. I've grown up to be very social and career-oriented, and really value education. My husband is the same, and that's how we really connected with each other. My sister-in-law, however, has a different mindset. She got married at a very young age and chose to have a family. She has one daughter and chose to not pursue a college degree. However, is a total brat and has always been said yes for everything. For context, she had a 3-day wedding in Italy with 120 guests. She doesn't hate me, but doesn't love me either, and the feelings are mutual. We just don't connect. We recently took a new house and threw a housewarming for all his family, and everyone loved the house. We have an extra guest bedroom, just in case. His sister absolutely loved the house, which she said like 50 times, and said she would move some of her daughter's stuff here, in the extra room, because we have too much space and she doesn't want to carry it whenever she comes. We live in New York and she comes from New Mexico. I really didn't get the logic and politely declined, and said we have a lot of guests coming every now and then, and do not have spare space for your daughter's clothes or toys. She wasn't happy, but I didn't care. It's been 4 months since we bought the house, and she's come a total of 53 days. Yes, I counted. Most of the time she comes unannounced and says, I was visiting someone, or I was in the neighborhood. What kind of person would fly from New Mexico to New York to be in the neighborhood? Anyway, I slowly realized she had started putting up pictures and redecorating our guest bedroom and lost my crap. I told my husband, and he said I'm overthinking and she's just trying to be friends with me. When she left last week, I packed a box full of her things, which she conveniently forgets in our guest bedroom, and shipped it to her place. She got very, very angry and called me and started screaming at me. I told her to stop overreacting and stop considering our house as hers and that she's no longer welcome. I told my husband everything and that I would not entertain her anymore. He agreed to what I said and told his sister that she needs to stop doing this or she's no longer welcome. She called my in-laws and literally every person we know and told them we were being like a-holes. Our phones have been buzzing with texts and calls saying how inconsiderate we are and that what we did was wrong. I told everyone if you're so interested, keep her in your house and stop bothering me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I see a lot of people writing that she's running from an aggressive husband. She's not. She got married at 17 because she was pregnant with her daughter and got divorced 3 years ago. She lives with her parents in a 5-bedroom townhouse with no job. She loves the idea of living in New York. Cloistered Around says, I think shipping her stuff she forgot was brilliant. Not the a-hole, because her showing up without advance notice isn't okay. But you and spouse should probably chat and get on the same page for boundaries with family. Goth Penguin says, not the a-hole. You set a reasonable boundary. She pole vaulted over it while giving you the finger and tattled because she's the center of the known universe and you weren't falling in line. Poylord says, not the a-hole. Her behavior is unhinged. I think it might be worth talking to your husband about if everything is going okay for her in New Mexico, as it sounds like she might be plotting to escape to your guest room. My mother-in-law and I have never gotten along with each other. My mother-in-law is very snobby and has always looked down upon me. My mother-in-law comes from a wealthy family and has always used that as an excuse to look down upon me. I think my mother-in-law nearly had an aneurysm when dear husband told mother-in-law we were getting married. I made it clear that my intention when getting married to my husband was always to be a housewife, and I think after the childhood I had, that I deserve it. My mother-in-law seethed at me getting to be a housewife, since she didn't like the Cinderella story that has become my life. Sister-in-law confided in me that mother-in-law has been pressuring her to go to college, but she wasn't certain if that is what she wants, or if she might want to do something else. I explained that while college was good if that was something you wanted, I don't think parents should demand that their children should have to go to college. I told her that I became a housewife, and that was the right path for me. Sister-in-law told mother-in-law that she would like to go to college, but that she would prefer to be a housewife as her big life goal. Mother-in-law then exploded and accused me of encouraging sister-in-law to become a gold digger. I got angry and told mother-in-law that I had worked hard to survive and get to where I am now. Am I the a-hole for telling sister-in-law that becoming a housewife worked well for me? TopBit85 says, nothing wrong with being a housewife. The problem is, it offers little security. Everyone goes into marriage thinking all will be rosy, but that is not always the case. Many things can screw up. Your husband may love you to bits forever, but he may not last forever, or he may get ill, or. Never a bad idea to be able to support yourself and your family well. Education is very important, and I don't blame your mother-in-law for being annoyed at you. Lady Grey Owl 13 says, one doesn't necessarily need to go to college to have a fulfilling career. There are other options that don't include spending a fortune for a 4-year degree. But in order to become a housewife, one has to be married first, and then completely financially dependent on their spouse. That's not ideal. You obviously have influence over your sister-in-law, and in your mother-in-law's eyes, you basically encouraged her to be as financially dependent as you are. Likely, she thinks you're a gold digger. If I had to take a side, I'm with the mother-in-law here. Cynically Sin says, you're the a-hole. Telling a teenager to just become a housewife is the most horrible advice I've ever heard. There's no shame in being a housewife, but it implies that you have a husband who shares the same goals and ideas. Now, you risk this poor girl is going to be out there searching for someone who will let her be a housewife, instead of finding a true partner.